So in the news this week, because we got to get into this, and again, I can see the twitching going on in your mouth right now, because I have to bring up the Republicans' continually failed attempts to derail Obamacare. The most recent one was they're losing their bid for the skinny repeal that just happened the night before last, in an overnight session that ran till 2 o'clock in the morning when they finally got the vote. And it was McCain, God bless him, who basically said, you know what, just not going to go for this. He was the vote that really turned the tide, I don't want to say in the Democrats' favor, but away from the Republicans. Because had he voted yes, then they would have been in a tie, and Vice President Pence could have come in and been the swing vote, and the Republicans could have gotten away with their skinny repeal. But interestingly enough, McCain got up and made a speech that basically said the reason, and everybody agrees that Obamacare has its flaws. And I think you've been very vocal about that, CJ. They're numerous, of course, but it is a somewhat functioning healthcare plan.
No, it's
McCain's
not.
position was that the reason that Obamacare got passed was because the Democrats were in control at the time and they were able to just ram it through. They didn't need Republican support in order to make it happen, and so they did. And he said what we ended up with was a flawed system, and we would just be making the same mistake over again if the Republicans turn around and ram their version through. So McCain wants to see Obamacare fixed. He wants to see it changed, but he wants a bipartisan approach to it. And until that happens, he's
never gonna happen,
willing to just leave it alone.
That's never going to happen. It is never going to happen. There is no way a Democrat on any earth in any dimension is going to allow Trump care to replace Obamacare.
Trump care? Is that what we're
never
calling
going to
that?
happen?
Trump care, huh?
Yes.
So much for the American Health Care Act is now Trump care.
Yeah. That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Todd is back there not saying a word.
Oh, I was looking forward to this part of the show being a little later. The part where I get to finish my sandwich.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
I gotta save this sandwich for later, otherwise I won't make it through the whole show.
I see. All right. So yeah. So we still have Obamacare. It looks like it's going to be here for some time. That's not to say the Republicans are completely throwing in the towel, because they're not.
But you also have the problem of a lot of the Republicans also just don't like Trump, so they can't be seen as co-signing too much of what he does.
Interesting. Well, I guess that's true. But if you look at the votes last evening, there literally was just the one vote that stopped the Republicans from actually getting this through. It was McCain, who, by the way, came back from an illness. You know, he'd just gotten through having more treatments for a tumor, and so clearly he recognizes the need for some kind of health care.
Okay, no, he doesn't.
You don't think so?
No,
huh?
no, wait. They've got the best health care on the planet.
Yes, that's
for him, it's a non-issue.
That's undeniable.
That man will come back from the dead with the health care plan they have.
What I'm saying is,
in fact, he might be dead. We don't know.
He recognizes the usefulness
of
everyone having a health care plan.
No, he does not.
You don't think so?
I don't think so at all. No, not at all.
I think that he does.
I don't think so.
And
a lot of that may just me being so jaded about politics because
that could never be. That couldn't have anything to do with it.
There's a marginal possibility that could be my motivation, but I don't believe any of them truly have. I shouldn't say that. Some of them probably do have citizens' best interest at heart, but I was thinking about this. I was thinking about it because I was thinking about Hillary Clinton, about her political path, how she was the governor's wife in Arkansas and then the senator in New York. And I mentioned this before. And she started out in Chicago. It's almost like baseball teams and basketball teams, like they are teams for the city, but nobody in that team is from the city or really reps the city, with the exception of LeBron in Cleveland. He reps Cleveland pretty hard.
Okay.
But the fact that they can just float around anywhere they want, anytime they want, it's kind of the politics has become the same thing. Politics is now sports.
Well, isn't that the thing?
They're all free
Everybody's
agents.
trying to get the ringer so that they win.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's all about the end game. It's not actually about the sport.
Exactly. And that actually has even trickled down to the local level, where you have people who want to run for politics or want to run for a certain committee or something like that. So they'll pick an area in the city that they can go live in just so they can run in that area when they really have nothing to do with that area. Like they'll buy a piece of property there just to say that they live there or own a residence there, and
so that they can
run for that position.
Yeah, no, I believe that's true.
And that's been an ongoing situation, because I always talk about how these people, they are in Washington, D.C. and on the East Coast for like months out of every year, and they don't come back home, and they don't know what's going on with the people in their communities because they are never in the community.
Well, let's face it, most of the politicians don't know what's going on anywhere outside of wherever they are.
That's a problem.
But